guys, welcome back. My guest now is Noble Arts Andrew Meichan. Andrew, how you doing?
Alright,
I'm good. Trying to battle through as many of these podcasts. But we followed you on Snapchat.
Aye.
So I seen that you were watching wee Lucas one last week, and I was like, and bro, we'll get into it in a second, but when I was very impressed with you boxing at the championships a few weeks ago, and I was like, nah, do you know what, I need to reach out, so I said, would you come on, and then thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So we had a wee chat there before, we went on it. I should just start recording from the minute you walk in the door rather than fucking start and then go through everything again. But tell us a bit about yourself. So you box at Noble Art.
Yeah.
When did that start?
Probably 6 years ago I first got my kid, but took it 2-3 years off, and then I think it was my brother's pals got up and like, "Do you want to come up?" I was like, aye. And then like, 2 years ago I started getting in there. I was enjoying it more, and then they disappeared, and then lockdown hit.
Aye, bastard.
And then I ended up getting a bag for the house. I was walking in it, and then started enjoying my run, because that's what you could do. But your one thing a day was your run or your walk. I done that, and then I looked back ever since. Just been in the gym pretty much every day.
So Noble Art it's a club that's run by Chris McAdam. What was he like?
A mental case, but he's good.
He's one of these old school
Aye.
coaches that loves the sport, and he can see things before
Aye, before you go. Aye.
before people see them, and he knows how to just tweak and develop somebody. But he's also quite a funny guy in it. I've sat next to him a few times and done card tricks and that.
That's his favourite thing: card tricks and coin tricks. And
So what's it? Is it is the gym disciplined? Is he like, see if you don't turn up, is he pissed off? Does he get in your case?
no,
what's it like?
he'll understand like if you've got stuff on, but like fighters, he'll be disciplined with. Like, get fitters, he's alright with, but if you're a fighter, then you're there to work out and keep your weight down.
So Noble Arts, it's got a lot of tough names that box out there.
Aye.
And that's what you kind of remind me, because like, so we talk about the National Development Championship. So this was the CDE categories. It used to be the intermediate, so you had to like work your way up. So going into the tournament, how many bouts did you have?
7.
7. So that you had qualified then for the C category. And the whole idea is that you would then develop into the D and E, and then onto the. You can still box in the Open Championships.
I think so.
So going into that tournament, I know you had you done the Barhead show,
Aye.
and you boxed. Is it Hassan Salim there?
Aye.
Was that just one bout you had at that weekend? Aye.
Just that one. That was just to get me on to the 7.
And what was your what happened to you on that bout?
Usually I'm nervous right before every bout, but that was like the only bout I was just chill. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous because he was quite tall, and then I came into it. Just had that big long jab. Felt as if I took the first round. The second round was quite tight, and then the last round, he got a point deduction for pushing my head down.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, probably won it. And then they gave a 3-2 split in his favour, which I was like, hopefully I'll get him in the intermediate, and I did.
So see when, because I think there's still a lot of confusion of what a 3-2 split means, right? To you, what does it mean?
5 judges, their decision.
So 3 have said one and 2 have said the other.
Aye.
Sometimes I'm at shows, that's how I understand it, right? Sometimes I'm at shows and you've got people go, oh, that was never a 3-2 split, like he won day rounds, and I get it. That I think some people think that somebody's won out of 3 rounds, somebody's won 2 and somebody's won like one of them, like 2 and 1 or whatever. But it's as close as just one judge has scored it. And
it's punch or something.
Aye, and it could literally be something so. It's and Craig Stephen, when he announced it, says it's the closest you could get, 'cause you can't get a draw.
No.
There is times we've seen where it's been a draw because of point deductions. It's left at it's literally the same points, and then what happens is the judges will pick who they think overall done the best of the 3 rounds. By 3-2 split decisions, we've seen a lot of them at the Western Districts. And it's a shame because you've just put in as much
You
as.
think you're there.
Aye. So you had that like warm up bout before getting into the development champions. I got you the line. You had and then 7 bouts. You're then able to compete. So was I think what was Hassan Salim's the same?
I think it was the same.
So the both of you know each other. Was it the first bout that was on?
Aye, the semis.
Aye, so the semi final was the first bout on. You're meeting Hassan Salim again, and I thought the same as you. Right, I remember you at the Noble Art. In fact, let's talk about that first. You Noble Art, was that your 4th bout?
Aye, that was my 4th bout. Aye.
And you got unanimous in that.
Aye.
And the boy you were boxing, do you remember his name?
It was Alex Doherty.
And he's a tall boy, no?
Aye, he was massive.
Right, but I remember you stood. There's a few boxers that stood out to me as being like, because I'm for drum chopper. Right? So I know boxers, and I say this all the time. I'm for drum, like it means anything. What it basically means is there's you might not have the height, the reach, or be the biggest fucking guy there, but you've got that passion where you know what you need to do to win, and that at your home show, especially your home show, because that's like a big night for you. I think it was the first one back after COVID as well. There was a lot of things up there. There was a lot of people that couldn't make it. Cause I think I don't know if the weather was. I think some parts of Scotland the weather was bad. So I know Chris on the day was like.
It was up and down constant.
Which you see, man, and it's just it comes for being like he's a coach. He wants to coach. See, like, and I told you what it was like with my awards. I want to give the awards, but I don't want to deal with all that fucking stress of putting on. So there was a few bouts that were changed to exhibitions and that, and but your bout was a proper bout. And I remember what was that? What was the decision? That was it a split or was it unanimous?
That was unanimous.
Unanimous. So that was your 4th bout against a decent boxer, and you've got that home crowd support behind you.
It was buzzing, man.
So then you take a very close loss against Hassan Salim. You're now meeting again semi-finals. When you're going in the ring, first bout, one of the things I thought was, and I've seen Hassan box before, and I was like, all right, he's got the reach. Doesn't mean anything, but because there's a wee boxer, I don't know if you know Brandon Butler for Remshire Boxing. I love watching him box because and the same way Martin Kerr, that's sort of like they'll just duck and get in the inside and you need to adapt and change your styles. Even with cash boxing, you have to see them adapt. So you go into this ring, what's going through your mind the first round?
I was just like, I know what he's coming out today. I'm going to be sharper than him, and I think there was a bit of less pressure on me because I knew what I needed to do. I knew it was coming at my way, and I knew because the first time I fought him, when I was whacking him, I kept whacking him with big left hooks, and he just didn't like it. He'd grab my head. I was like, I just need to throw bombs at him, pretty much, and he wasn't liking it. And in a few of the photos, you see him, he's like that, I'll be cocked back. So
obviously he's had experience of you as well, and he's thinking, right, how do I counter what you're, because it's a 3-2 split. It was very close. That you were going to be somebody that could match him equally. Like there's 2 of the judges thought you won it, 3 judges thought he won. So it was close. So when you get into this, I loved how you were sort of. It was like he was throwing jabs and you were sort of ducking under that. Sometimes it can be difficult because you're clashing. Then your 2 styles are clashing, and then you're getting under. He's then getting pulled up for pushing you down and stuff. But I think going into the 2nd and 3rd round, I think you just kept being relentless, and I think he sort of struggled then to find any rhythm whatsoever. You just broke that down, and as I said, he's for a good club. He's a good boxer. They get a lot of sparring up there, and it's not to say you don't, but what was Chris like in your corner in between the rounds?
Just telling me the same stuff. He's like, how you feeling? I was like, fine, I'm no tired, and he's like, same thing again, and that's I just executed that perfectly. Did
you have any doubt? Do you have nerves at this one?
Aye, so every decision, no matter what they say, I think it's went against me. I came out the ring and I was shaking my head. He's like, you've won it. And then when they said unanimous, I was like, surely he's not beat me in a unanimous.
That's what I like to see in boxers. Like sometimes, like I think you should always. It's nice to have. There is people that when I spoke to Lucas last week. I mean, he was like, "Not I've won it, right?" And he knew one. I hadn't seen the bout until I got the edit back for Boxing Scotland, but because his was in ring 2. But yours, I watched. I was literally sitting. You get your back to me when you raise it. That's something we need to sort out because in the elites they faces. But it'd be good to film like
the reaction.
But I always like it when a boxer isn't always 100% sure, because I think you need that doubt to sort of push yourself. And you know how close it was, the one before. But it's a semi-final. So there's also an argument. I mean, Ben had said this a few times, that some boxers, if they box on the Friday, then they box on the Saturday, and then they're like, they have it in me to have another bout, and they're like, should I just pulp no day so much? But nah, you went. This was in the. Was this the Friday? This was the Saturday. Saturday, and then the Sunday you're taking back. In between the days, what was it like for like the weight?
I was underweight. I think I was under by like 0.3.
Yeah.
So I went home, had a good lunch, and then came back out and weighed myself on the Sunday, and I was still bang on weight. Did you
have a good night's sleep?
Aye. Went home, sat in a bath, relaxed all my muscles, and then sleep at like 10 o'clock.
Who taught you that? Or was it just
something I learned? Because I fought 3 days in my first. I fought up at 60 kilo. Fought 3 days in a row, and I didn't do anything like that. And by the Sunday, I was fighting Liam Howe.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I couldn't even keep my.
Just at the novices.
Aye, this was the first novice.
I hadn't seen the novices, because it was literally on the day of the awards, and then I was ill after it, so I couldn't make the second weekend. But that's who Ben was looking. He was looking for this boy, saying that he just, I think every bout he was in was just like, he wasn't getting to second rounds and that.
Non-stop.
What was he like to be in the ring with?
He's power, man.
Was that at a different weight, or has he moved up weight?
No, he stayed at 60. I've went down. I've went down to 54. He's just a machine, man. He just walk you down constantly. Yeah. And then that was my first southpaw, I thought. So I was trying to figure that out, or the fitting outside, and then just caught me with a body shot and stopped me in a second. It's brutal.
Because Ben he was looking forward to see him. I think there was if he stayed that way, there was a few. I know he won, but there was a few very close ones, I think, for him. But you've went down weight. You're more comfortable at that weight. You're alright keeping that weight. Because you're at 21. It's your metabolism slowing down. You can't go eat whatever the hell you want. But you've got a good build. You're fit as well. But you're alright keeping at that level. So on the Sunday, you come back, you weigh in 6 in the morning or something. All the times it's like 8.
I think I got there at 9:30.
9:30. So you I think it's between 8 and 10 or something. You can weigh in. And then you're going to be an early bout again. Was it the first one again?
First one again.
And then what happens?
I don't know, because I was the freshest I've ever felt for a fight, and this was my third final at the Scottish, and I was like, I need to do it. And I'd seen Ryan up there in the cafe. I was like, looks the exact same height as me. And I was like, that's fine, because everybody else I've fought has been tall. I was like, it's got to be a toe-to-toe bout, which I enjoy.
So Ryan Irwin, Glasgow City Boxing, got a straight final. This was his first amateur.
I think so.
But he has good experience at white collar, semi-pro, whatever you might call it. Do you think it's fair how they work this out?
I wouldn't say so, no. I think it could be dangerous enough for the boys that have had white collar, because amateurs it's a different ball game, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I try and just, if we're filming, I have done white collar shows as like favours and that for people, and I just think in the amateurs they're teaching you the sport of boxing, but they're also teaching you how to respect the sport, respect your opponents, like wee things like no showboating or coming into the ring when you're invited, like when the referee's ready, like stuff like that. and not to take away, like I've never boxed, right? So not to take away for anybody that gets in the ring, it's the most dangerous sport in the world. And regardless of what level you're doing it at, I do think there's a lot of, there will be something that happens with these YouTube boxers very, very soon, and it's already happened where people have passed away at the like the white collar shows for charity and stuff. Like people get really hot. But as you said, that is a different ball game. The white collar, literally, there will be people that are good boxing caliber.
He was a good boy.
So there will be people that maybe think they've went into white collar and thought, maybe not even understanding it. I mean, the first boxing bouts I went to were white collar, and I didn't know the difference. I wouldn't been able to tell the difference between pro, amateur, white collar. But to me, it was just boxing. And you think that's a bit of a nuts story, right? But I was filming a white collar show, and there was a boy. I won't say who it is. I'm trying to ease me with the story because you'll probably work out who it is. But he got a belt, right? He got a belt that he made. Right? It was fucking nice belt, big fucking belt, right? He sold probably 100 tickets to this fucking big event. And he obviously goes in, he boxes fucking some cunts came up he came up and he's boxed somebody for doing South, right? Who I think was high when he arrived. I don't even know, like honestly, man, I think they just smoked all the way up. And he wins, right? Which was expected, right? But it was afterwards, the people in the audience, and I'm trying to just film it because I was like, I'd like to capture everything, but when I listen to it back, and there's a guy going up to him going, I fucking knew you could do it. I fucking told you. And I was like, is anybody under any illusions that anything else is going to happen? Like, he's bought the belt. He's boxing somebody that's just came up just to fucking give him, like, make it look. And it's like, that's what's, I get it. There's got to be people that maybe they've had a wee bit of a career somewhere in boxing, and this is like, they can go out, they can make a bit of money or something, feel like they've done something. But as you said, that's totally different for amateur, because I mean, there is glory and there is, you're going to go in and win your Scottish champion, and that's going to feel good. But it's something that you've earned, and nobody can take it away from you. You've went in, you've played by the rules. You've went in, you've won the bouts, and then you get that medal at the end, and nobody can ever say that, oh, you've like bought your own medal or paid it off or whatever. But there will be people, and there is boxers that I've seen. Even I was at a show in Oven, and I seen some white collar guys that I thought I should go into amateur and take it seriously because they do have that skill. And obviously Ryan's has fought that, and he's went in and he's boxed you in the final. So you seen him in the morning. What was your thoughts?
I don't really. It's not as if I go out like hunting for him. Oh, where is he? Just seen him, made eye contact with him. I was like, cause I was standing my coach. I was like, Chris, that's him there. So I didn't really say anything to him, and just sat down pretty much in the next seat for him.
Do you feel any hostility? Because sometimes if I know people are going to be boxing somebody I know, my mates, I don't even know where it comes to. It's like weird. Oh, this guy thinks like I don't even know where it comes to. Probably the wee man syndrome for drum chop or something. Like we always need to like be the wee underdogs or whatever. And sometimes it's like see with like Colin Belshaw's the coach at Renfrewshire, right? First time I'd ever seen him, he was in the opponent's corner. I was boxing my mate. So I just felt like there was this, like we didn't really say hello, nothing, never spoke. And then when I was launching JTV Raw as like the interviews and that, I'd say to Cash, oh, do you think Colin would be alright? I thought he was going to be like, nah, why would I let him in my gym? Because he's that other boy's side. But you go and you just take, especially somebody like Colin Belshaw and Chris McAdam, like they are like, they know the sport, and it's like win, lose, or you don't draw, but win or lose, like you go in and you get your on and you respect that decision. I remember when the Renfrewshire show was a dad came up to me and went, oh, don't going to no post my son's bout, and I went because he lost, right? And I was like, right, this was the first time we were doing it, so I didn't know how, like, what I should have done. Like, he's told me not to post that his son's in it.
Aye.
So I went to say to the coach, and he's like, who was it? I told him. He goes, nah, I'll speak to him. He goes, you post them all. He goes, because if his son won, he would have wanted it posted.
Aye.
But there is, like, obviously, I'm like, well, there's rules about child protection stuff as well. Like, somebody doesn't want me to post their kid boxing. Like, what can I do? So that was like the very early days. We started to work out, like, wise ruining it. If somebody didn't want it about posted, then there's nothing I can do. I need to take it down, or I'll just send it to the other boxer, and then they can do what they want with the footage because I've just filmed it for them. But with this, so with me, there's like hostility sometimes that just comes out of neighbour. But you're sitting next to the guy, and then you're on the first bout up. Do you have nerves going into this?
Aye. Major. So I know it's the third time, man. I can't come out with an silver. It's like, the gold is just mine. That's what I kept envisioning.
Yeah.
Just that I'm going to get it.
And that's, I mean, the studies that have been done where people, like David Beckham, for example, he used to go out in his head out the night before every game, taking a free kick, scoring it, the feeling of winning and all this. And he said that that's what's helped him, like, to achieve it. You have to, like, imagine it for, like, your brain is very powerful, man. And in boxing as well, like, you have this sort of you're training your muscles to react. Sometimes like these sharp, like, reactions. Sometimes before, like, you might see something in your opponent's eyes that he's thinking about something, and your brain already processes, oh, he's going to throw that right, and I'm going to, like, move and then throw my right or whatever. So you go into this as your final. You know, to you is a lot at stake, innit? What's the word I'm looking for? You've revenged. Or avenged Hassan for the week before. You know, in the final, what was it like in the bell? That's for round one.
I was just like, every fight, I try and take centre ring and then go to them. Done that, and then go to his corner, and it just came to just met and started swinging. It's probably the best fight I've had so far. Do
you, because your adrenaline's gone through the roof, right? Do you feel everything, or do you, like, it was just you don't feel nothing?
Don't really feel. It's just like, you know, the punch has landed on you, and you're like, right, try and hang with that next time. But it's no, don't really feel it. It's no.
So you go back after round one, speak to Chris. Was he happy? Round one.
He said I won the first round, so I was happy with that. And then he went, no, he said it was tight, but I think you edged that. Go out and make sure you win the second. Did
you go into the first round think, I'm just going to go for it, or do you think, oh, I'm going to need to pace myself?
Aye.
So what is that going through your head? Because sometimes we were watching and we're like, especially some of the guys that had fought 3 times, right? We're watching them and it's like completely different boxers, and that we were like, is it that they've just had a bout Friday, Saturday, now they're in the final? Are they try to, like, slow it down to make sure they last to there? But you need, it's a hard thing to judge on it, because you don't want to throw away a round that you might need, but it's very early in the bout and you want to get through there. So what is the game plan going into round 2 and then round 3?
I say I'm quite happy with my fitness. Most fights I've been able to just keep going forward, and I think that's probably the thing that wins me in my fights, is just being able to walk people down and just keep going. Like, after the final bell, I'm like, I could probably do another 2 or 3, which I'm quite happy with. And
do you think, because of your age as well, like, because sometimes you see a boxer's a bit more mature, and you're still young, but in the boxing world, like, this is like, you'll be a very different boxer from you were like 4 years ago. And you've learned to, as you said, you could probably go more on, like, where you see the pros in that. There'll be boxers your age that are in pros and they're going at 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds. So my question is probably, like, do you think that's because you're a more mature boxer, like you've got that advantage, or somebody that's maybe they're thinking 3 rounds? I'm just like, oh, as long as I survive to the 3rd round, and you're like, nah, I'm going way
right. Aye.
So I've got my mate Ahmed, when he used to do sparring, there's a boy from North Glasgow who used to go spar with him, and he used to say that he used to try and get in with Ahmed in the first 3. He's like, I'll try and just box him 3 rounds, sparring, and then he goes, and then I wouldn't do anymore. Whereas Ahmed was doing 3, then he switched to somebody else, and then the idea was that the first boxer would go back in. And he's like, I was like, why? And he goes, because he gets better as he goes on. And he goes, when everybody else gets tireder, he goes, and I can't survive after that third. He was used to boxing, and he would box the 3, because he was an amateur boxer. He was like, I can't. After that, I'm just out of breath, and he's still wanting to go on. And I seen that when Ahmed was boxing for the Scottish title, when he won it. By the 8th and 9th and 10th round, he was still had a lot of the tank. But he used to do Muay Thai years ago, and I remember they'd be, you need to lose 5 kilo, and he'd be out running like 10 miles, 10 kilometres every night, try to get just getting his weight done. So your stamina plays a big part, and if you you have that confidence in yourself where you're like, nah, I can go on, even 5-6 rounds. Some boxers we seen, me and Ben were commentating, we're like, after even in the 3rd round, we were like, we think these guys could do another few. They're just getting into it, and it's a shame sometimes, like, because you think that sometimes people need time to sort of, especially first round, you don't really know each other. You're kind of sussing each other out as well. You're constantly thinking. So we get to after the 3rd round, it goes 3 rounds. Are you still doubting that you won it, or do you think, nah, I've got it, or is your corner like, nah, you've won it? What's going through your head?
I thought I won it 100%. I was just waiting, but when he said a 3-2 split, I was like, right, I'm not going to get too cocky and start jumping about. And then when I raised my horn, I was like, right decision, definitely.
What would that feel like?
I'm still buzzing after it. It's such a good feeling.
That's something like nobody can take that away from you. Did you have people there that were for fun?
My family and my missus and her family were there. So
wow.
They had been there when I lost my 2 finals, and then I finally went in front of them. I was just buzzing.
Was it like, we won't dwell on this too much, but was it like when you did lose and they're there? Because it's hard as a, like, I've, as I said, that my best mates in the box, they're like my brothers, right? I've so much love for them that it's hard watching them go through that pain where you think they feel like they've done something, or they've let people down or whatever. But what's it like on the other end? Do you think, nah, fuck it, just get on with it, heat up, move on, or I'll come back better, or what?
So it was a bit he'd get off for the first maybe hour or something, and then I was like, I'll just watch it back, see what I can do differently. And that's what I done. I just keep watching. Could have done something different there, then bring it on to the next bout, and I know that I can take that out and there won't be a fault there.
Because as you go on, your boxing sort of knowledge and what do they call it, your boxing expertise and that is getting better and better as well. Sometimes coaches see things that you don't, and that's what they're there for in between the rounds. But you bounce back. I think that I always say to people sometimes, like, everybody likes a comeback, and I think even as a boxer, that journey you need it sometimes to tell yourself that there's always somebody else out there that's going to try and take everything that you've worked for. They're going to think that they've worked harder as well. And I think possibly, I mean, I wasn't at the Barhead show, but possibly that loss to Hassan Salim probably maybe pushed you a bit more to be like, nah, you can do this, you can, and you like, and as you say, like, you've worked hard for it, you put everything, and you just wanted that gold, and then you came out and you're Scottish champion. So what's going to happen next?
Still in training. I think I've got my home shows in April, so that's what I'm working toward. But if anything comes up before then, I'll take it, definitely.
Are you? Because sometimes, like, there's boxers that maybe they'll do a lot of home shows, they'll get a lot of bouts under their belt, and then they'll turn up at, say, one of the open, like the elites or something like that, and it's like they weren't quite ready for it. They've rushed into things and gave themselves time and space to adapt between the bouts. But I think you've probably managed that well so far. It's not like you've got through your 9. What is it? You're going out at 9. Have you done 9?
I've done 9, aye.
So there's a Golden Gloves tournament. You won't make that yet.
I don't think so. I might.
And then your home show will be in April. And then looking to what there'll be tournaments and that like to the end of the year. So you look to better that. What's the long term goals? Are you wanting to work your way to become like Scottish Elite champion?
Aye, that's something I'm looking at. What my eyes are set on.
Yeah.
Followed in. I've got like the William Wallace in July and
The William Wallace Box
maybe
Cup.
Westlands at the end of the year.
Yeah.
See how everything pans out.
Did you watch the Elites for like last year?
Aye, I've watched them.
Well, that's a nice event, man.
Aye.
It was easy for me. Like they had booked this big camera crew and all that in, and they literally just gave me a HDMI cable, stuck it in here, and people thought it was me. They were like, "Oh, Jamie, you're doing so well, man." And I'm like, "I'm literally doing nothing. They're doing everything. All I'm doing is just sitting here talking." But the Elites were just because it was the first one back as well after COVID.
Aye.
I think it just it's an event that I think I want every boxer that's went through that journey to go in and then like to win that, because now they've got like the belts, they're going to get the Golden Gloves as well. I think they'll like as well. But it's just a nice event that boxers can sort of feel like they have this massive, and there is other things going on, right? You can get into development squads and you can go abroad and all this. But I think in Scotland, why is it boxers should be aiming to that level, and then if you time it, you can get, and you do get into the development squads and that, then you've got the Commonwealth Games and the cycles of that, the Olympics or whatever. But longer term than that, like you obviously love boxing. Do you feel like it's done a lot for you, or do you think like you
Definitely.
obviously get a lot out of it? But further down the line, do you see yourself like becoming pro?
Aye, definitely. Spoke to Chris about it. Says, just see how you get on, then we'll have a talk about it.
So you've got the Meichan brothers.
Aye.
That's weirdly like, so their cousin is my sister's fiance.
Aye.
So my nephew Tom, he's like, I think he's named after people, and there's so many Thomases and that in their family. But one's pro, one's still amateur. Is that right?
Aye.
Have you been to pro shows?
No.
It is, I warn you, if you go, it's a bit different. Like Leo Church came with me to see a show at the Normandy, and he was just like, I just think it's so different for the whole environment is just different for amateurs. That he was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I could see he just wasn't like, and again it isn't. It's sort of like the pros sometimes can be a bit nitty gritty in that, and it's like very early in the pro game you're maybe boxing journeyman just to try and get the numbers under your belt and stuff like that. But then you'll have people that have done so well, like Dylan Arbuckle. He's just recently became pro, and he's such a good boxer at amateur level. You're like, you just want to see him start like boxing really decent boxers. But then there's always that risk that if you have like 4 or 5 fights and you've taken a loss or whatever, it then becomes difficult further down the line. People want, like, when you want big fights, like people want 16-0 and all this. That's why it's I think it's important to do like as many of the amateurs as you can and get into like big events like the Elites and stuff like that, because it gives you something like prestigious that you've earned and then you can take that with your name as you go pro. So you're 21, you've got your missus, your wee kid. What's that like? Your dad, you get to juggle.
So it's every night I'll leave at about 4:30, get back about 9. That's just for training. So even them it's hard, but I think I need to do it. And then seeing them after I've won, I get a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Just chill it.
So you do need to sacrifice a lot. That's the thing, like, especially in amateur, because you're not paid to do it, and you're doing it for a lot of reasons, not just like fitness and wanting to do well in the sport, but like love for boxing and that. And as I said to people all the time, like boxing helps you through other parts of your life. Like these skills that are there that, like, I remember when Cash, he must have been about like 15, 16, we had a a football group on Friday, and like we were Kingsway just at the corner of the Yoker, so Yoker used to come, and I knew the boys for Yoker, right, because I done youth work in that area sometimes as well, but they used to come steaming a Friday night just as the bus was arriving to drop the boys off for Kingsway. And I remember they used to come with bottles and all that, try to fight. We were trying to get the boys for Kingsway back to the houses, but me and Cash would be talking to them. Cash would be right at the front saying to them, "Oh, come on, the fuck lads, just leave it." And they're like, "No, just let us, that boy's message, it's what it is on Facebook or whatever." But that sort of experience that Cash had, where he's been in a ring, he knows what a fucking fight is. He knows that you get air that fear. Even to box at big tournaments, man, like that's a big. You got all these people watching you and shit. It's a big experience to go through that. A fight in a street doesn't really become. No. Obviously, you know how dangerous fights can be, but like he was just good at no letting fights happen. Just been using his words, and because people knew he was a boxer. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes people get a bit intimidated with that. Like, oh, this guy, he like fucking floor me. But then other people, when they're drunk, like Shazman Parnage used to get this. When he used to box Doories, I think, in Priestfield now. Used to go Kelvin Grove Park, and people would be like, "Oh, that's that boxer," and then they want to go set about him and that. I remember there was a video, and I think they sent to Boxing Scotland, and they like chased him up for it. But the video that they get sent literally started when he started swinging. But the whole video was them literally trying to like attack his mates and all this shit. So, but you do get there's wee guys that don't get ADHD, helps them breathe, they get a better sleep. Then go to school, they're thinking better, their brain's functioning better, and it helps with that as well. What age is your wee daughter?
3 next month.
Has she seen you? Do you get her like boxing gloves and that? Does she seen you box?
Not yet, no.
What do you think it would be like when?
I don't know. I think I'll probably be the most nervous if she was there.
Yeah.
Just be a different bit of pressure.
I mean, this is what I said earlier to you, that Cash, his family, even us, his mates, didn't go see him box.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bit surprised there. Well, I wasn't surprised at how good he was because I'd heard that he was good, but I was surprised that how much he literally had a separate world, a separate life in this boxing world that we never really knew about. And then when we seen him first time, I seen him box a wee warm up. So it was a guy from Nicaragua, and he cracked him in the ribs, and then the guy was on like a fucking mask, right? So I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know Cash was that fat. Just seen him, right? He was only like a round. And then when he won the British title, that again was 70 seconds or something. 3 knockdowns in the first round, and we were like, fucking hell, he's brilliant. And I thought, but when I talked to Cash about all the stories about how difficult it was when he was younger, he used to like save up his bus fare. He used to jog to school and that. I don't think his parents even were that happy with him boxing. He save up his bus fare and then use it to go to competitions on Fraserburgh and that. And his coach at the time didn't even have money to go up either. So he literally sacrificed a lot. He seen me once. He tells a story, right? I was out with my mates and I went back to her area and I was steaming about 4 a.m. And then I was like, I must have left my mates to get a bus to mine when I stayed in like White Inch. And Cash was at the bus stop. He was to go to Shettleston, his gym, and he says he's seen me and he doesn't really, at this point, he wasn't really around people that are drunk. He hadn't seen me drunk before. And he was like, Jamie, you're right, do you want me to get you to? And I was like, nah, I'm fine. Like, I vaguely remember everybody at the bus, it was a pure busy bus, I don't know where every cunt was going, but they're just staring at us. And he's like getting a bit of that. He told me now, he was like, I just didn't want to deal with it. I was like, oh fuck. He goes, like, this guy's drunk. Like he thought when you're drunk you're just like aggressive and all shit. But he was getting up at 4 a.m. to go to Shettleston to like for training, and he's still like that. He still gets up early. So there's a lot of sacrifice in it. Is your family like being supportive of you?
Aye, majorly supportive. My dad got me one of my sponsors.
Oh wow.
Avesta. They're my first sponsor, so.
So you give them a shout out. What they called?
Avesta Fire Protection.
So, so they do like the fire protection in buildings and all.
Aye, hotels, Normandy and all that.
Oh, brilliant. And what was you spoke to your parents since you won?
Aye, they were there. They were first day I ran up to Chris,
Yeah.
like I don't know like
Oh.
that. Thanks for everything, and then just got pure emotional when I was out like seeing them, and then it was just probably the best buzz in the world being about them after that.
Yeah, man. Because it is like a pure network of support you need.
Aye.
Wee Lucas was saying when he wins or loses or whatever, he just likes to be in his own, just to
Aye.
take that time to calm down and reflect. But I mean, he's 13.
Aye.
He did say to me in between the Saturday and the Sunday he couldn't sleep. That's why I was asking, like, where did you learn it for? Because you need to have a sort of come down for the fight. And then sometimes it doesn't even kick in till 2-3 days later.
Aye.
You'll know this. Like, I always say to people, like my mates, if their girlfriends and that are pregnant and they've went into labour and delivered them, like the third day there's going to be a hefty come down of emotions, and just whatever happens, whether she's screaming at you, try to swing for you, just get through it, and just live with it. But listen, I was very I remember when, like, the Noble Art show, and then I seen you, and I did have it when you came out. I was kind of wanting you to do well.
Aye.
I didn't know about the Hassan Salim background, and I've seen Hassan Salim box before, and I wish him all the best as well. But sometimes you just see something, you're like, you just want them to do well. So when I seen you watching, I was like, you know what, I want to get you come in just to learn a bit more about you. And this won't be the last time you'll be on it, like, no doubt. At your home show after you win there, jump on all day, like, you can jump on and have a chat with us as well. But listen, Andrew, thank you for coming out and speaking to me, and I'll catch up with you soon, my man.
Thanks for having me.